Welcome. We are reading today Mind Power into the 21st Century by John Kehoe. Part 1. Another view of reality. There are more things in heaven and earth than are dreamed of by mere mortal men. Quote by Shakespeare. To work with mind power, you do not have to understand the laws of physics or how reality manifests itself. Just as you don't have to understand how a carburetor works or how a spark plug fires in order to drive a car. Few of us understand automotive mechanics, but that doesn't stop us from driving. Likewise, in the science of mind power, anyone can quickly and successfully master the basics and effectively put them to work in his or her life. We begin by examining the nature of reality, especially the startling new discoveries in science over the last 10 years, which have helped us to understand more clearly how the mind creates its own reality. These discoveries explain why creating visualizations in our mind is not just idle daydreaming, but is a creative process which helps us direct the same energies that hold matter together, change water into steam, or cause a seed to sprout and grow. Stop, klim op jou oog. Stop, klim op jou oog. Understanding the nature of these energies assists us in understanding the mind and shows us why inspiration, prayer, and intuition are not supernatural phenomena at all, but follow patterns and laws which we can discover and use at our will. Like everything else in the known universe, the powers of the mind are governed by laws which, robbed of their scientific jargon and broken down, can be easily understood by anyone. Let me take you on a short adventure into these new discoveries. Modern physics now sees the universe as a vast, inseparable web of dynamic activity. Not only is the universe alive and constantly changing, but everything in the universe affects everything else. At its most primal level, the universe seems to be whole and undifferentiated, a fathomless sea of energy that permeates every object and every act. It is all one, in short. Scientists are now confirming what mystics, seers, and occultists have been telling us for thousands of years. We are not separate, but part of one giant whole. Quote, when a blade of grass is cut, the whole universe quivers. It's an ancient, Upanished saying. Modern physics has changed our concept of the material world. Particles are no longer seen as consisting of any basic stuff. Rather, they are seen as bundles of energy. They may make sudden transitions, quantum leaps, behaving at times like units, yet on other occasions like waves of pure energy. Reality is fluid, Nothing is fixed. Everything is part of a pattern. That a pattern that is in constant motion, even a rock, is a dance of energy. The universe is dynamic and alive, and we are in it and of it, dynamic and alive ourselves. The universe is one giant hologram. It was the invention of the enigmatic hologram that won Dennis Gaber the 1947 Nobel Prize. Let's look at what a hologram is. A hologram is a process in which the whole is contained in each and every one of its parts. For example, a starfish is a biological hologram. If you cut a point from a starfish, it will grow a new point. Not only that, the point will grow a whole new starfish, because the genetic imprint of the whole starfish is contained in each and every one of its parts. I was at a holographic expedition in Sydney, Australia, several years ago, in which I saw an exhibit of photographs done with holography. Okay. In one of the pictures was an image of a woman standing upright. If you moved to the right of the picture, the woman changed suddenly and now was smoking a cigarette. If you moved to the left of the picture, it changed again, and she had her hip thrown out in a suggestive pose. If one were to drop this holographic plate onto the floor and it shattered into pieces, each piece would reveal not what you would expect to see, each a piece of a shoe or a dress, or maybe her eye, but the image of the whole woman. And if you moved any one of the little pieces from side to side, you would still see her smoke that cigarette and throw out that hip. Every single one of the small pieces would have the whole picture in it. It now appears that the nature of reality is holographic, and that the brain operates holographically as well. Our thinking processes seem to be identical to the primary state of the universe and made up of all the same stuff. The brain is a The brain is a hologram interpreting the holographic universe. How consciousness and the physical world interact is now less of a mystery. Consciousness is but energy in its finest and most dynamic form. This helps explain why events are affected by what we imagine, what we visualize, desire, want, or fear, and why and how an image held in the mind can be made real. These discoveries about the nature of reality can be a major force for our continued change and growth. If we know and understand that we are a part of an open and dynamic universe, and that our minds play a decisive part in constructing reality, then we can choose to live more creatively and powerfully. We need no longer stand on the sidelines watching things happen to us. For, with our new understanding, we now realize that there are no sidelines to stand on, nor were there ever. Everything is affecting everything else. Even our thoughts are creating our reality. Discovering a new theory, Einstein once said, is like climbing a mountain, gaining new and wider views. This is what you are doing by reading this book. As soon as your mental climb, and soon your mental climb will be rewarded by an open and exhilarating view of your true potential. Huh. That was cool. Let's take part 1, chapter 2, consciousness. Quote, so think as if your every thought were to be etched in fire upon the sky for all and everything to see, for so, in truth, it is. Book of Leodad. One moment. Before everything runs dry. Okay, let's continue. If you think of your thoughts as a reality existing side by side with what we call the physical reality, you will be closer to understanding the unique relationship between the two. You are living simultaneously in two worlds, two realities. The inner reality of your thoughts, emotions, and attitudes, and the outer reality of people, places, things, and events. Because we fail to separate these inner and outer worlds, we allow ourselves to become dominated by the outer world of appearances. And we use the inner world solely as a mirror for whatever happens to us. Our inner world reacts constantly, and because we spend all our time simply reacting, we never experience our power. Ironically, you begin creating your reality the day, the hour, the minute you cease constantly reacting to it. Your inner consciousness is a powerful force whose influence is felt in every aspect of your life. It is, in fact, the major and most important part of who you are, and it is the main cause of your success or failure. Everything, at its purest and deepest essence, is energy, and whenever you think, you are working with an immense amount of this energy in this quick, light, mobile form of thought. Thought is forever attempting to find form, is always looking for an outlet, is always trying to manifest itself. It is the nature of thought to try and materialize into its physical equivalent. Our normal thoughts can be compared to sparks from a fire. Though they contain the essence and potential power of the flame, they normally dissipate quickly. They last only a few seconds, fly into the air, and quickly burn out. Although a single, unaided thought hasn't much power, through repetition, the thought can become concentrated and directed, and its force can be magnified many times. The more the thought is repeated, the more energy and power it generates, and the more readily it is able to manifest. Weak and scattered thoughts are weak and scattered forces. Strong and concentrated thoughts are strong and concentrated forces. To illustrate this, picture a magnifying glass through which the sun's rays pass. If the magnifying glass is moved about from one spot to another, the power of the sun's rays is diffused and not apparent. If, however, the magnifying glass is held still and focused correctly at the proper height, those same rays become concentrated, And that diffused light suddenly becomes powerful enough to ignite a fire. So it is with our thoughts as you progress in your study of mind power. You will learn how to develop and concentrate your thoughts so that they become much more powerful. Ari? Maybe you want us to read some. At this point, just realize that thoughts have power in themselves. Your deeply held beliefs, your fears, your hopes, your worries and attitudes, your desires, and each and every thought you think, all have an effect on you, others, and your environment. Most of us go through our waking hours taking little notice of our thought processes. Right. Most of us go through our waking hours taking little notice of our thought processes. How the mind moves, what it fears, what it heeds, what it says to itself, what it brushes aside. For the most part, we eat, work, converse, worry, hope, plan, make love, shop, play, all with minimal thought as to how we think. We might be far more willing to learn how to use our mental mechanism if we imagine for a moment that for every thought we either gained $1 or lost $1, depending on the type of thought. Considering we think thousands of thousands every day. This is quite a proposition. Imagine an accounting system recording our every thought and recording which type of thoughts gained us money and which ones lost us money. How diligent we would be in controlling and directing our thoughts. How enthusiastically we would create those thoughts which made us money. And how carefully we would avoid those which cost us money. This is more or less what is already happening inside of you. Though with energy, not dollars. There is a big accounting system going on. It's called the universe. And no thought produced there is without its effect. The world is ours. This world of ours is no dead pile of brick and stone. It is a living, dynamic system of energy. Even thought, every thought you think, impresses itself upon the system, and its effect is indisputable. You are forever creating your reality through what you are thinking. The beginning step to a new and more successful life is absurdly easy. You have only to pay attention to the flow of thoughts inside your mind and direct it accordingly. Your life is entirely of your own making, so look at the way you are living. You claim you want financial abundance, yet you are constantly bemoaning your lack of money and how expensive things are. You dwell on what you don't have and the bills coming in. You worry and wonder how you will get along. You may want financial abundance, but because your consciousness is of lack and worry, you will never experience that abundance. Or maybe you wish you could find a job, something interesting and challenging, that would use your creativity and pay you well. If you constantly tell yourself these jobs are impossible to find, that it will never happen, it is very unlikely it will ever happen. Perhaps you wish you could be a more outgoing individual, bold and spontaneous, full of assurance and confidence. Yet, if you constantly focus on your inferiorities and inadequacies and put yourself down, reminding yourself again and again of your problems, you are not likely to become that type of person. You may want strength, but if your consciousness is of weakness, you are fooling yourself to think you will ever possess that strength. In short, wanting something badly will not make it happen. Hoping for something different will have no effect. Working hard 12 to 15 hours a day is wasting your time. You will always remain where you are unless, and it's a big unless, you change your thinking. Quote, "To them that hath, more shall be given. To them that have not, even what little they have will be taken away." That comes from Luke 19, verse 26, from the Holy Bible. When I first read this quote, I didn't think it was fair. Of course not. It didn't seem fair that them that had would get more and them that had not would lose the little they had. It just didn't seem right. I thought it would be more just if them that had not were given more, but that is not what the scripture says. That is not the law, nor is it the way the universe works. Upon reflection, I realized that what could be more fair than every person's freedom to choose for himself or herself thoughts which will, in turn, create their reality. Want to change your circumstances? Develop the necessary consciousness. A successful person has a success consciousness. A wealthy person has developed a prosperity consciousness, and his thoughts are on abundance, success, and prosperity. This is how he thinks. Easy for him, you say. When you're successful, it's easy to think success, and when you're wealthy, it's easy to think prosperity. But my situation is totally different. I'm not successful, I'm not wealthy. The situations and circumstances of my life keep me down. Wrong, dead wrong. Your circumstances and situations never keep you down. The only things that keep you down and keep you stuck are your thoughts. With work and practice, you can learn to direct your thoughts and create any consciousness you choose. Your reality will change only after you've developed your new consciousness, not before. The new consciousness must come first. What is it that you want in your life? Do you know? More health? Then get health consciousness. More power? Then get power consciousness. More happiness? Get happiness consciousness. More spirituality? Get spiritual consciousness. Everything exists as a possibility. All that's required is for you to feed in the necessary energy until your object becomes yours. How reassuring to think that no matter what a person's past or present situation, or how many times they've previously failed, if they would but regularly feed their consciousness, their situation would change. This remarkable ability has been given to each and every one of us to use or to ignore. It costs no money. It takes no special talent. It takes only the decision on your part to take the time and put forth the necessary effort to develop the appropriate consciousness. That's all. Everything else will automatically fall into place. Your mind is like a garden which can be cultivated or neglected, and you are its master gardener. You can cultivate this garden or you can ignore it and let it develop whatever way it will. But make no mistake, you will reap the harvest of your work or your neglect. Your mind creates your reality. You can choose to accept this or not. You can be conscious of it and set your mind working for you. Or you can ignore it and allow it to work in ways that will hinder and hold you back. But your mind will always and forever be creating your reality. That's the end of chapter 2, so let's move on, shall we? And we're back. There we go. I don't think so. Chapter 3, Part 1, Visualization. Part. There is no thought in my mind, but it quickly tends to convert itself into a power and organizes a huge instrumentality of means. By Ralph Waldo Emerson. What is it that makes a person a winner? I wonder. What distinguishes those who succeed from those who fail? It's all in the mind, says Arnold Schwarzenegger. A multimillionaire, successful real estate tycoon, movie star, bodybuilder, 5-time winner of Mr. Universe. Arnold has it made. But it wasn't always so. Arnold can remember back when he had nothing except a belief that his mind was the key to getting where he wanted to go. When I was young, I visualized myself and having what it is I wanted, mentally. Mentally, I never had any doubt about it. The mind is really so incredible. Before I won my first Mr. Universe, I walked around the tournament like I owned it. The title was already mine. I had won it so many times in my mind that there was no doubt I would win it. Then, when I moved on to the movies, the same thing. I visualized myself being a successful actor and earning big money. I could feel and taste the success. I just knew it would all happen. Chris Fullion was a member of the world-renowned West German freestyle ski team that won the European Cup 6 times between 1976 and 1982. Part of our training program involved working with a psychologist to increase the power of our minds. After training on the slopes, we were placed in a state of meditation, encouraged to totally repeat the slope runs in our minds, visualizing each hump and movement of the routine. We worked as hard training mentally as we did physically. Excellence in athletics, or indeed any endeavor, depends primarily on having a clear mental picture of that activity. Chris should know. She not only had her 6 medals, but she now has her own successful consulting firm, teaching businesses and sports groups how they too can benefit from the same technique. Brian Edwards, one of Australia's top life insurance salesmen, a man of infectious good humour and spirit, spends 10 minutes every evening before he goes to bed running over his mind his next day's calls. He pictures himself making his presentation to each client. He sees them being receptive and gladly taking out a policy with him. He imagines a very productive day with lots of sales. He does this for 10 minutes before he goes to bed and 10 minutes upon rising in the morning, a total of 20 minutes each day. Brian Edwards sells more insurance in 1 week than most people do in 6 months. They're 3 totally different people with totally different goals and objectives in life. Yet all are using the same technique to create and influence their reality, the technique of visualization. Visualization is using your imagination to see yourself in a situation that hasn't yet happened. Picture yourself having or doing the thing you want and successfully achieving the results you desire. For example, let us say you want to be more confident. Using visualization, you picture yourself as confident. You see yourself doing things, talking to people, all with confidence. You picture yourself in situations that normally give you difficulty, and you see yourself in those situations at ease, confident, and performing well. You might picture your friends and associates complimenting you, congratulating you on your newfound confidence. You feel the pride and satisfaction of both being a confident person and of enjoying the things that happen to you as a result of your confidence. You visualize everything that would or could happen to you and live as if it really is happening to you. Here's how to go about a successful visualization. Decide what you want to do. Pass an exam, get a promotion, meet someone new, make lots of money, be more confident, win the squash game, whatever. Then relax. Spend several minutes unwinding so that you are comfortable in body and mind. Spend 5 to 10 minutes visualizing the reality that you want. Linger on thoughts of doing and having the right thing you want, not as some future reality that might happen or could happen. Live in your mind as if it's already happened to you now. Create little inner film clips or videos. See yourself doing the things that you want. On one level, you know it's not yet happening to you. It's not yet real. It's still just a visualization, a mental picture. But the mental picture we indulge in, the one we regularly think about, becomes a blueprint for our goals, a mold into which we pour our energy. These pictures are real forces that work for us. Build whatever characteristics are necessary in your visualization. If talent, courage, determination, or persistence are vital parts of the picture, include them. Sometimes you will see clear, sharp images as if you were watching yourself featured in a movie, accomplishing your goal. Other times, you just sort of think about your goals in a general way. This is all fine. You can alternate between precise and free-flowing visualization, doing a few minutes of each, or concentrate on whatever technique feels most comfortable. Precise visualization. With the exact picture and scenes you want in your mind, follow the preset script you have created and run it through your mind a number of times. Free-flowing visualization. Allow images and thoughts to come and go without choosing them directly, as long as they show a positive outcome of your goal. Practice both methods, and remember the key here is practice. Most people find that they have difficulty in the beginning stages of visualization. Their mind won't cooperate and picture the desired scenes. Don't worry if this happens. The picture doesn't have to be complete and perfect. If you commit yourself to a program of regular visualization, you will be surprised at how your mind will gradually begin to think the thoughts and scenes you choose for it. I should mention at this point that visualizing something once or twice is of little effect. Results come when the image is imprinted again and again and again for a period of weeks or months until your goal has been achieved. Don't try to measure success after only 1 or 2 attempts. If doubt or contradictory thoughts arise, and occasionally they will, just ignore them. Don't try to resist them or fight them. Simply let those thoughts come and go in your consciousness without much notice. Just keep repeating your visualization and everything will quite naturally look after itself. 2 conditions for a successful visualization. 1. Always visualize your goal as if it's actually happening to you right now. Make it real in your mind. Make it detailed. Enter the role and become it in your mind. Number 2. Visualize your goal at least once a day. Each and every day there is power in repetition. And any thought put into your mind and nourished regularly will produce results in your life. Let me share with you a recent University of Illinois experiment. A group of student basketball players was divided into 3 groups, tested for their ability to score baskets, and each group's results were recorded. The first group was then directed to come into the gym every day for a month to practice shooting. The second group was instructed to engage in no practice at all. And the third group was instructed to engage in a very different sort of practice. They didn't step foot in a gym, but instead stayed in their dorms, mentally imagining themselves there practicing. For half an hour each day, they saw themselves throwing the ball and scoring baskets, and improving dramatically. They continued this inner practice every day. After a month, the 3 groups were tested again. The first group, those who practiced shooting every day, showed a 26% improvement in their scores. The second group, those who did no practice at all, showed no improvement. And the third group, who, remember, had practiced only in their minds, improved equally as much as the group that had practiced for real. Such creative visualization is powerful, but is far from magic. It involves working with natural laws and energies and being creative in directing your own innate power. Properly directed, your imagination is one of the most dynamic faculties that you possess. Begin using this technique right now. You don't need to concern yourself with the specifics of how things will unfold. Trust the process. Simply follow. Supply follows demand. And you will be led to do the right thing at the right time. You can be sure the ways and means will make themselves known to you, for nature always creates the opportunities needed to fulfill the demands put upon her. It's natural to want all the answers before we're willing to risk any legwork. We'd all love to see the steps and know all the details of everything that will happen to us. But you rarely get to see those details and steps at the beginning, and very often things unfold in the most unexpected ways. Actress Carol Burnett was born in Los Angeles and raised by her grandmother. They scraped by on welfare and were so poor her grandmother collected toilet paper from public washrooms. There certainly was not enough money to send the talented youngster to UCLA, which was her dream. She, however, knew that she was going. I never thought about the possibility of not going. I would imagine myself taking the classes, being on campus, learning everything I wanted to learn. Every day I would think about it, every thought there did. Even though there didn't seem any way I could go, I knew I would. So how did she get the money? One day, in my final year of high school, I went to the mailbox to check the mail. There was an envelope made out to me. It had a stamp on it, but it wasn't postmarked. It hadn't been mailed. It had been hand-delivered by someone. I opened the envelope and it was the exact amount of my first year's tuition. No note, no explanation, just the money. Imagine that. I still, to this day, don't know who sent it. Opportunities open up when you open up your thoughts. Now, I am not saying that if you visualize it, someone will come up with an envelope and give you the exact money you want, the way it happened for Carol Burnett. But I do promise you that situations and opportunities will come your way that will lead you to your goal. You can count on it. Your thoughts are more powerful than you suspect. And any image held in the mind is a force that will eventually produce an effect. It is not futuristic science fiction that we possess the ability. It already exists within us as a practical tool which we can use anytime we choose. End of chapter 3. Now we move on to chapter 4. It's a little tiny book, we'll finish it in no time. Yes, let's just move a little bit. Get the juices flowing again. And then we're off to the next chapter. Let's get right to it then. Chapter 4 of Part 1. Piece of ice. Right. Quote. When an object or purpose is clearly held in thought, its precipitation in tangible and visible form is merely a question of time. The vision always precedes and itself determines the realization. Lillian Whitting. If visualization is creating scenes or pictures in your own movie, then seeding is like adding the soundtrack. Only instead of words, you are adding the feelings that accompany the pictures. For example, let's say you have an important presentation to make to your company. Your supervisors and bosses will all be present. If you do well, there is an excellent chance that you'll get a promotion as a result. The presentation is very important to your career. You decide to use the seeding technique, spending 5 to 10 minutes seeding the thought or feeling that you've just given the presentation and it was a huge success. Everyone was impressed. The interview is all over and you did it. You pulled off the fabulous presentation. Unlike visualization, in seeding, you are apologies. Unlike visualization, in seeding you are primarily concerned with the feeling of whatever it is you are visualizing. Here is where your imagination comes into play. Imagine what it would be like to have delivered the perfect presentation. Would you be excited, elated, overjoyed, relieved, thrilled? Whatever your personal reaction, feel it in your gut and make those physical feelings a part of you. Live in the certainty that you already have the thing that you want. Don't wish, wonder, worry, or hope that it will go well. Claim it in your mind as an already existing fact. Replace "it's going to go well" with "it has gone well." It has gone well. It's all over and you did it. So enjoy the feeling of excitement, the sense of accomplishment, and the thrill of pulling it off. Congratulate yourself, shout for joy, leap up and down if you like, exult and vibrate again and again with the feeling of having already accomplished your goal. Again, in seeding, you are not primarily interested in the mental picture of how you achieve your goal, though. These pictures will quite naturally flow into your mind. Rather, it is a physical sensation of accomplishment you're after. The flushed cheeks, the pounding heart, the sweaty palms. In the Bible, Jesus' disciples asked him to teach them how to pray. You may or may not believe the teachings of the Bible. It does, however, contain some very powerful mind power techniques. Jesus replied, "Whatever things ye pray for and ask for," my apologies, "whatever things ye pray for and ask for, believing that ye have received, ye shall receive." Notice he says that you must believe you have received them. Not that you will receive them, but that you have received them. Therefore, you will receive them. This is more than just hoping or wishing. This is claiming what you want in the inner world, the world of thought and creative energy. It is a very powerful process. As any person adept in working mind power will attest. Let's change it up. Let me share with you a story that happened to two very good friends of mine, Bill and Janet Henderson. The Hendersons were moving to Vancouver, BC, from a rural area, and they wanted to buy a house roomy enough to accommodate their growing family. Of course, houses are much more expensive in the city, and they were a large family needing a large house. They also had very specific needs. Not only did they want a large house, they wanted a large yard with lots of trees, and all at a price within their budget. Everyone told them they would never find anything like that for the price they wanted to pay, but they knew better. Bill had already practiced mind power techniques both in his job and in his relationship with his family, and knew they worked. So he enlisted Janet, and together they worked as a team, visualizing and seeding for the house. 2 months later, they called me and asked me to come see their new home. We walked around we walked around their spacious yard, as tranquil with its trees, shrubs and flowers as if they had taken a piece of the country and brought it with them. Once inside, they gave me the full tour. It was a large house with enough bedrooms to give all the children their own rooms, and there was a den and a recreational room, all for the price they had wanted to pay. That's fabulous, I said. Aren't you surprised? You found it. Bill's answer showed such an enlightened understanding of the power of the mind that I've never forgotten it. No, he said, we're not surprised at all. We had already taken possession of the house 2 months ago in our minds. He said it with such confidence. After all, this was only the manifestation of something he had been claiming as his for 2 months. He and Janet had claimed the house in their inner world. They had taken possession of it already. Those are strong words, strong vibrations, powerful faith. They weren't hoping or wishing or wondering when and where they would find their dream house. They just worked together with the feeling that the house which would meet their needs would be theirs. They took possession of it in their minds. Not this specific house, for until it came their way they had no idea it even existed. But they did know what they wanted and needed, and this is what they seeded every day until it became their reality. Today, the Hendersons not only use seeding and other mind power techniques in their own lives, they are teaching their children the same principles, as they too can have rich, rewarding lives. What greater gift could a parent give to their children than an understanding of their own natural powers? We all have the power. Our thoughts create our reality, and seeding is merely working with the thought that you already have the thing that you want. It is repetition and consistency that separates seeding from idle daydreaming. In seeding, you don't live an illusion. You don't walk around every day with your head in the clouds, believing you possess something you don't. Seeding is a mind power exercise that takes 5 minutes a day. A 5-minute burst of energy that you create for yourself regularly, each and every day, without fail. The importance of repetition cannot be overemphasized. As with all mind power techniques, practicing sporadically here and there is useless and will have little effect. Set yourself up for regular program and keep to it. Regularly seed the feeling that you already have whatever it is that you want. It's yours. Live it. Vibrate with it. Exalt and thrill with it. Claim it absolutely as yours. Take possession of it in your inner world. 2 conditions for successful seeding. 1. Always seed with the feeling that you have the thing you want, that you have already achieved it. Second, seed regularly, each and every day for at least 5 minutes. It is infinitely better to practice a few minutes every day than to do it for an hour once a week. That is the end of chapter 4. Now moving on to chapter 5. Let us just take a little bit of a sip quickly. Don't let everything dry out. There's a funny noise outside, kind of like a humming noise. Maybe it's mine. Cool, and we're back, and we are doing chapter number 5, affirmations. Quote, "The possibilities of thought training are infinite, its consequences eternal, and yet few take the pains to direct their thinking into channels that will do them good, but instead leave all to chance." Quote by Bryce Morgan. Okay. Let's do this. Right. Affirmations are probably the easiest and simplest technique we know to influence and affect the conscious mind. They have been used for centuries throughout the world in such spiritual and magical practices as prayers and mantras to replace negative thoughts with more positive ones. Now they are being used by people from all walks of life to close business deals, heal ailments, meet people, win tournaments, and in countless other applications. Affirmations are simple statements repeated to yourself, silently or aloud, whatever feels most comfortable and practical to you at the time. You can do them anywhere. In your car while driving, sitting in the doctor's office waiting for an appointment, lying in bed before you go to sleep. You decide upon a statement that represents what you want to have happen to you, and you repeat it to yourself over and over again. For example, let's say you're in a situation that usually upsets you and makes you tense when you prefer to be relaxed and calm. This is the perfect time to use an affirmation. Quietly repeat to yourself, "I feel calm and relaxed, I 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 feel calm and relaxed." Don't try forcing yourself to feel calm and relaxed. Just keep repeating the statement to yourself for a couple of minutes. Likewise, if you have a big meeting coming up and you want it to go well, begin affirming to yourself beforehand. It's going to be a great meeting. It's going to be a great meeting. It's going to be a great meeting. What are you doing when you do affirmations? When you are doing affirmations, You are influencing the thoughts that go through your mind. Your mind can hold only one thought at a time, so an affirmation works by filling your mind with thoughts that support your goal. The words suggest to the mind that it should be thinking, what it should be thinking. If you're affirming to yourself, it's going to be a great meeting, your mind will quite naturally begin thinking thoughts about it being a great meeting. Your mind effortlessly picks up the implications and message of your affirmation. This simple technique can be very effective in helping you get the result you want. Make whatever you want to see happen into an appropriate affirmation and use it regularly. One successful salesman I knew begins each day with this affirmation. Lots of sales, lots of smiles, and he repeats this to himself for several minutes in the morning and several times throughout the day. Things to remember when you are doing affirmations. 1. You don't necessarily have to believe them. In fact, anyone who's ever been unsuccessful in using affirmations has probably been trying to force themselves to do just that. The mistake can actually nullify the effects of the affirmation. Don't worry about believing, just keep repeating. If you do believe what you are affirming, great. If you don't believe it, that's fine too. It doesn't matter. The conscious mind will quite naturally pick up the content of whatever you are affirming, and it will seep into your consciousness. You don't have to force anything. Good news, right? Number 2. Always affirm in the positive. Make a positive statement, not a negative one. For example, if you want to see a meeting go well, you wouldn't say, I'm not going to blow this meeting. If you want to be calm and relaxed, you wouldn't affirm, I am not going to be uptight. For some reason the mind doesn't pick up the not, and you find yourself programming blow the meeting or uptight. The mind will focus on these self-destructive images and not on what you want. Number 3. Keep your affirmations short. An affirmation should be like a mantra, short and simple, easy to say and easy to repeat. I like to keep my affirmations to 10 words or less. Sometimes even 2 words can be very effective. Tremendous success or recorded sales. Tremendous success, recorded sales. Tremendous success, recorded sales. Got it. I have had people show me affirmations that were half a page long. There's no way you can say an affirmation that long repeatedly. Even 2 sentences is too long. Repetition is what will imprint your affirmation into your consciousness. So the shorter the better. I repeat, make it short, make it rhythmic, make it easy to say. Be careful that you don't use affirmations against yourself without realizing it. I'll never get it done. I'll never do it. It's impossible. I'm blowing it. I'm a disaster at relationships. I know I'm going to make a mistake. I'm always losing. Are all affirmations that you can find yourself repeating to yourself without even realizing it. Watch out for them. Let me share with you an experience that happened to me on a lecture tour of Australia and New Zealand. Halfway through the tour, I looked at my schedule for the following months and couldn't believe my eyes. I was being routed from city to another with hardly any breaks and was even expected to be in 2 different cities on the same day. I began thinking that the upcoming month would be an impossible, stressful, pressure-cooked, and that what I actually started telling myself. This is going to be a pressure cooker. For 2 or 3 days I felt increasingly tense and uptight in anticipation of the dreadful next leg of the tour. I cursed the person who had set this ridiculous schedule for me. Then I caught myself, and I had to laugh. Here I was teaching mind power, and I'd unwittingly fallen into a trap of my own making. Nice affirmation. I am a pressure cooker. So, I made myself a new affirmation consisting of just 4 words. Organized, relaxed, and fun. That's 3 words. And I repeated this to myself for several times. The next morning I began the day with the same affirmation, and I repeated it whenever I started thinking about my hectic schedule. Within a few days I began thinking that, as long as I was organized and relaxed, the marathon pace might be fun. What was I getting all upset about? In the end, those 4 words made all the difference. Organized, relaxed, and fun. And it's probably one of them. Okay. My schedule didn't change, but my attitude towards it did. The tour that I had almost made into a pressure cooker for myself turned out to be a breeze. I was organized, relaxed, and had fun, rushing about to meet the challenge. Once I changed from a negative to a positive affirmation. You can create affirmations and use them through your day to help you accomplish the things you want. They are easy to say and can be done anywhere. In the bank queue, in the waiting room, or when stuck in traffic. You don't have to believe them. You don't have to do them with the sensation that you have it. All you have to do is repeat them. I'd suggest starting first thing in the morning, because that crucial first half hour sets the tone for the rest of your whole day. As little as 2 or 3 minutes of practice will soon produce a noticeable effect. Every day in every way it's getting better and better. Every day in every way I'm getting stronger and stronger. Every day in every way I am getting healthier and healthier. You see? The name Emily Kehoe may not be a household word today, but at the turn of the century, this pioneer in affirmation technique was curing illnesses and teaching his discoveries in clinics all over Europe and North America. He caused quite a sensation in his day, and his work is still talked about today, decades after his death. Emile found that the patients recovered much better and more quickly if they repeated a simple affirmation every morning upon rising, and every evening before going to sleep. The affirmation he taught them was, every day and every way I'm getting better and better. 2 minutes in the morning, 2 minutes in the evening. That's all. The effect was so dramatic that he wrote several books on the subject of self-suggestion and taught people around the world the curative properties of the mind when directed towards recovery. Kehoe's affirmation forced the patient's mind on every day. Focus the patient's mind on every day, in every way, getting better and better. Emile is credited with the documented cures of thousands of people. Closer to our own time, singer-songwriter John Lennon will always be remembered for his magic, his humanitarian beliefs, and his wonderful openness. Lennon made no secret of his interest in the magic and the powers of the mind, and his songs reflect this interest. Listen to the lyrics of this song, Mind Games. We are playing our mind games, creating the future out of the now. Lenin knew and used both visualizations and affirmations. My mind is what makes it all happen, he liked to say. In A Beautiful Boy, which he wrote for his son Sean, he actually sings, before you go to sleep, say this little prayer. Every day and every way it's getting better and better. He, like you, Kehoe, and so many other great men and women before him, found his way to his eternal truth. John Lennon's songs beckoned us to believe in ourselves and to believe in our power and our ability. Who do you think you are? He sang. A superstar? Well, right you are. That's the end of chapter 5. And we'll move on to chapter 6. Acknowledging. Chapter 6 is about acknowledging. Let's just change this quickly. Chapter 6. Acknowledging. Nothing succeeds like success. Most of us are quicker to see our own failures and shortcomings than we are to acknowledge our achievements and successes. Okay. Let's see, where are we? When we accomplish something, we feel good about it for a few days or weeks, but then, when we move on to new goals and new desires, all too quickly we leave behind the good feelings of accomplishment. We forget that we have even achieved them. Now our new desires and wants becomes our focus, and we let go of the success vibration that was created from our past achievements. This is a complete waste of powerful success energy. If we focus only on the not yet attained, we unconsciously feed the mind the idea that we are lacking. We can reuse success energies from past achievements again and again, with very positive results, but unfortunately, we rarely do so. One night, after one of my lectures, a woman came up to me and asked, "John, do you think I could ever achieve goals? Do you think I can ever achieve my goals?" What did he say? I asked her to describe them. Her first goal was to live in a beautiful house. Her second goal was to fly back to England and see her parents and relatives she hasn't seen in 14 years. And her third goal was to have a meaningful relationship with someone special. As she was a single mother with 3 children and lived on a very slender means, these goals seemed impossible to her at the time. From my seminars, however, she hoped to learn powerful new ways to create her own reality. Apologies. I assured her that, by using mind powers, she could indeed achieve her goals, and didn't really think of the woman again until about a year later, when I received a phone call from her. "John," she said excitedly, "you'll never guess what happened. I now live in a house with a swimming pool and a fabulous yard and view. I told her I was very happy for her, but she wasn't finished. Not only that, but I was in England for 3 weeks and saw my family, and you can tell she was leaving the best for last. I'm in the most fabulous relationship. I'm in love, really in love." Needless to say, I looked forward to seeing her again. When I did, she said to me, "John, why doesn't mind power work for me?" I looked at her incredulously. "Why doesn't mind power work for me?" she repeated. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I said, "Listen, correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't you the woman who 1 year ago wanted to live in a nice house, travel to England, and have a meaningful relationship? Wasn't that you?" She looked at me in embarrassment. "Oh," she said, "I forgot about that." Forgot about that? How can anyone forget about it? Well, it's easy. We do all the time. She had achieved her previous goals and now was working on new and different ones. Because she hadn't realized her new goals, she was sincerely wondering why mind power wasn't working for her. She had totally forgotten and taken for granted her most recent successful achievements. Her mind had moved on to new things. We focus on what we want to achieve, totally forgetting to acknowledge what we have achieved. Why concern yourself with what you are not? We all have areas where we failed, where we feel we don't measure up. Learning to pat yourself on the back for your present or past victories, no matter how small. Look for anything that makes you feel strong, victorious, successful, and good about yourself. Acknowledge anything and everything, small and large, and use it to create a vibration of success and achievement in the now, which will aid you in attracting further success. Acknowledgement is especially effective when you are trying to achieve new goals. For example, let's say you're a young filmmaker trying to break into the big time by getting a major production company to back you. Using the acknowledging technique, you could look for areas that make you feel confident in your capabilities as a filmmaker. You might focus your thought on some of the shortfalls you've made in the past and feel good about it. You might recall certain scenes that the critics said either worked well or showed real promise. Focus on these scenes and remind yourself that you also have a good eye for detail. Acknowledge all the hard work you've put into learning your craft. Recall all the compliments and praise people have given you about your work. And recognize all the skills you've developed over the last few years and the progress that you have made. Search, and I emphasize the word search, for things to acknowledge. Don't just acknowledge the obvious, acknowledge everything. Don't feel silly or think it doesn't matter. Your positive qualities are just as real as the negative ones. Go ahead and feel proud. Feel great. Feel successful. Let your mind linger for several minutes on the success you already are. Apply. This technique can be applied to any goal, not just in specific areas, but in a general way as well. Take 10 minutes out right now and write down every strong point you can come up with in any area of your life, past or present. Examples: I dress well. I am good at my job. I am very creative. I know a lot about personal empowerment. I'm a good conversationalist. I'm generous. I am a good painter. I have a positive attitude. I am a safe driver. I'm fun to be with. Don't stop now. Your positive qualities are endless. People like me. I work hard. I enjoy life. I am a loving partner. I am a conscientious parent. I support my family and my friends. I've just completed making my acknowledging list. You put that in there. Make a general list and make it long. List at least 20 items. Don't be timid and reserved about it. Put it all down in black and white so you can see in a concrete way how many reasons you have to feel good about yourself. That's the purpose of the exercise, to make you realize you have lots of reasons to be proud of yourself. These good feelings create the success vibration that will form the foundation of your future success. You can employ a similar approach when you are attempting to achieve any goal. Make a list of at least 10 things about yourself which you can acknowledge that will support you in your attempt to achieve that goal. In trying to get a job as a sales manager, for example, you can make a list acknowledging the qualities that would make you a success at the job and, thus, the best candidate for the position. Your list might look something like this. I'm great with people. I'm a good communicator. People like me. I work well with people. I am a born salesman. I've done well in all of my previous jobs. I can motivate people. I'm talented. I look and dress well. I'm organized. I work hard. I achieve my goals. If you haven't made your list, you might have gone into the interview just hoping they'd give you the job. This way you go in certain you are qualified for the job. Nothing succeeds like success. You might have gone into the interview just hoping they'd give you the job. This way you go in certain that you are qualified. Sorry, just read that again. Nothing succeeds like success, and you have already succeeded in numerous areas. The more you vibrate this, the more success energy you attract from the environment. So, make your lists, feed your mind, work with energy, get involved in your life. Never stop acknowledging yourself. Never stop believing in yourself. Don't wait for things to happen. Begin creating, as John Lennon said, the future out of the now. Acknowledge, acknowledge, acknowledge. Consciousness creates reality, and you create consciousness. That is the ending of chapter 6. And we will continue now with chapter 7, Intuition. Yeah, intuition. Let's take a sip first, before it all dries out. The wind's blowing like it's nobody's business outside today. It's there for a reason, I'm sure. Let's not fault a book like that. It's horrible. They hurt so much when you fall them like that, so please don't. Quote. Chapter 7, Intuition. Quote. Why do I always get my best ideas in the shower? Quote by Albert Einstein. Imagine how confident, excited, and secure you would feel if you could team up with a partner who was able to supply you with everything you need in life. A partner who would give you solutions to all of your problems, show you opportunities and how to take advantage of them, and be there for you with wise and accurate advice whenever you needed it. Well, You do indeed possess such a partner, the partner within, your intuition. Learn to use this faculty and you will possess one of the main secrets of success. All great achievers, whether they be businessmen, athletes, artists, or statesmen, trust and use their intuition. The ability to come up with inspired ideas and make astute decisions is the mark of one who has cultivated his inner self. I once had a chance meeting with one of Australia's richest and boldest entrepreneurs. We were in the Perth hotel lobby one evening about an hour before I was due to speak. I recognized him from his pictures. In various newspapers and magazines. So I approached him and introduced myself. I had read in a magazine article that he believed strongly in intuition, and I asked him if that was true. Intuition plays a major role in everything I do, he confirmed. I can think of one major adventure that I have entered upon without first checking with my intuition. This man is not alone. Mozart claimed he received his inspiration from within. Socrates said he was guided by his inner voice. Einstein, Edison, Marconi, Henry Ford, Luther Burbank, Madame Curie, Nobel laureates by the bundle, J.J. Thomson. The list goes on and on of great men and women who have attributed their success directly to their intuition. Henry Mitzberg, in the Harvard Business Review, described a study he conducted on high-ranking corporate executives in which he found that they were constantly relying on hunches to cope with problems too complex for rational thinking. He concluded, success does not lie in the narrow-minded concept called rationality. It lies in the blend of clear-headed logic and powerful intuition. Billionaire Bill Gates, founder of Microsoft and the richest man in the world, shares similar sentiments. Vision and intuition go hand in hand with one another. Conrad Hilton tells the story of how he submitted a bid for $165,000 for a piece of property he wished to purchase for a hotel. When he awoke the following morning, the number 180,000 was nagging him. Connie was well known for following his hunches, which he called his invisible counselors, so he changed his bid to 180,000. He secured the property, which eventually sold for over $2 million because the next highest bid was 179,000. Ray Kroc bought McDonald's against the advice of his lawyers and accountants because I felt it in my funny bone that it was the sure thing. Funny bone. McDonald's is now a very sure thing. It's the most successful franchise operation in the world, and Kroc's decision to buy a few hamburger stands has made him a multi-millionaire hundreds of times over. Paying attention to intuition enables an individual to make better decisions, to come up with more creative ideas and better insights, and to find the smoothest, most direct route from desire to fulfillment. Those people who always seem to be in the right place at the right time, and for whom good things happen with uncanny frequency, are not just lucky, they have developed an intuitive sense of what to do and when to do it. Their intuition allows them to go beyond the obvious to become. Let's redo that. I don't know where I got that from. It's not written there. Their intuition allows them to go beyond the obvious to come up with fresh, innovative possibilities. It supplies them with all they need to know and instructs them on when and how to use that knowledge. Cognitive scientists who study new information, new my apologies. Cognitive scientists who study how information flows through the brain tells us that only a small fraction of what the mind takes in, less than 1%, ever reaches conscious awareness. It is staggering to think of how much we're missing. Yet this information is available to you. I spoke earlier of our minds as being bits of a greater hologram, with the whole contained in each and every one of its parts. Your everyday conscious mind may know and understand only your own personal experiences and knowledge, but your subconscious mind is linked and connected to the entire system, and thus has access to all the information contained within that system. Your intuition is how you access it. Getting answers. Stage 1. Preparation. Immerse yourself with all the available facts and information. Search out any and all knowledge that is relevant. Give the subconscious as much material to work with as possible. Let your imagination roam freely. Open yourself to anything that is even vaguely relevant to what you're working on. Open yourself to anything that is even vaguely relevant to what you're working on. The idea is to gather such a broad and varied range of data that unusual and unlikely elements can begin to juxtapose themselves. Immerse yourself in the information without trying to make sense of it. This is the job of the subconscious. 2. Incubation. Once you have mulled over all the relevant pieces, you can let the problem simmer. Whereas preparation demands active work, incubation is more passive. Let go and let the subconscious take over the work. Your subconscious works day and night. It continues to seek a solution, whether you are consciously thinking about it or not. In fact, practice suggests that the subconscious works better when left alone. We are more open to insights from the subconscious in moments when we are not thinking of anything in particular. Any time you can spend just daydreaming and relaxing is useful in the creative process. A shower, long drives, a quiet walk, a hike in the forest. For example, Nolan Bushnell, founder of the Atari company, got the idea for what became his biggest selling video game while walking alone on the beach one quiet morning. Steven Spielberg, on the other hand, reports that most of his best ideas come while he's driving the freeway. Albert Einstein once remarked to a colleague, "Why do I always get my best ideas in the shower?" Being overly concerned about getting the right answer, you can in fact hinder the process. It's like a professional athlete being stressed about winning a championship game. Athletes know that to perform at their best they have to be loose and relaxed. As soon as they put too much pressure on themselves, they make mistakes. For your intuition to work, you have to relax and let it work. Awakening the intuition. Here are 3 steps that will naturally and effortlessly awaken your intuition and bring the necessary answers you require. Step 1. Spend several minutes thinking about the fact that you do indeed possess a powerful subconscious mind, that the perfect answer and solution exist, and that your subconscious can and will access this information for you. Try to get beyond an intellectual understanding for this to where it becomes an emotional conviction. When this happens, you will feel charged and excited. The conscious mind must be reminded again and again of the existence of potential of this hidden partner within. You want to sense and feel this with assurance. Let your mind contemplate the great power you possess within. Step 2. Clearly state what it is you wish your subconscious to bring to you. What answers, solutions, insights. Repeat to yourself a number of times that it is this very moment working for you. Don't feel pressured or confused or try to figure out the answers. Speak to your subconscious with confidence, repeating over and over what you wanted to do, but word it in such a way that it is already doing so. My subconscious is now bringing me blah, 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 blah. Repeat this to yourself at least 10 times, feeling that the process is already in motion. Step 3. Relax. Relax and fill your mind with faith and expectancy that the correct answer will come to you. Remember, faith and confidence are not only attributes, but vibrations of energy. Vibrations will attract the appropriate solutions and answers just as a magnet attracts metal filings. A mind vibrating with belief that answers are coming to it naturally draws those answers. If you had the correct and perfect solution, imagine how you would feel. Excited, overjoyed, relieved. Feel those sensations now. Let your mind play with this mood in a relaxed way. Drop off to sleep with the assurance that the answers are soon to be yours. This entire process takes 5 or 10 minutes and is best done each evening before you go to sleep. The twilight period between conscious and unconscious levels is the most opportune time to reach the subconscious. Receiving the information. Sometimes the answer will come as a hunch or insight that pops into your mind when you least expect it. Perhaps like Steven Spielberg, when you are driving your car, or maybe when you're eating your breakfast. At other times, the answer will come as the still small voice within. The little voice or feeling that says, go here, try this, phone so and so. Learning to pay attention to these feelings and hunches and recognizing the voice within takes practice. But with time, you will develop this ability. Don't be discouraged if you can't distinguish your intuition at first. This ability is like a muscle and will get stronger and clearer with use. You strengthen it by paying attention to it, acknowledging it, wooing it, looking for it, trusting and acting on it when you feel you hear it. First and foremost, begin to become aware of its existence and listen for your intuition, even though you will miss it most of the time in the early stages. Have you ever taken a walk in the forest with an avid and experienced bird watcher? He or she will see 10 birds to every one you notice. Their eyes are attuned. They know what to look for. Their senses are sharpened with practice. Exactly the same will occur with developing your intuition. Keep vigilant, watch over, and be sensitive to what's happening within you. Soon you will hear and feel your intuition. It's closer to you than you can imagine. Really, all it takes is a little trust and practice. Frequently, intuitive ideas come to us in dreams. Dr. Frederick Banting, a brilliant Canadian physician, discovered the basics of insulin in a dream which instructed him in exactly what steps to take to find the elusive formula. Elias Howe, the inventor, the inventor of the sewing machine, labored for years over its design, yet always remained one small detail from his goal. One night he dreamed he had been captured by savages who were pointing strange spears at him, and he noticed that at the tip of each spear was a hole. How he awoke from his dream with a solution: put the hole at the tip of the needle. That simple change was the key that unlocked the invention of the sewing machine. Sewing. The methods the subconscious uses to bring you information will vary from time to the next, but you will always know you are receiving intuitive information by the quality of the ideas and by the feeling they produce within you. The exhilaration, the certainty, and the overpowering sense that this is it are what distinguish intuition from all the other thoughts occurring in your mind. Staying open to intuition. Yeah. Staying open to intuition. Certain attitudes and behavior will encourage intuition, and those are worth cultivating. In many ways, we tell the subconscious mind what we expect from it, and we get what we expect. Acceptance and confidence create receptivity. If you can learn to think of your intuition as a normal and valuable part of daily living, and issue an open invitation to come at any time, it will show up bearing gifts. But thoughts such as, I can't solve that problem, or I'll never find the answer, signal the intuition not to bother. Confident thoughts and the conviction that you deserve and expect not only an answer, but the best answer, stir intuition to positive action. Don't be timid. Boldly tell your subconscious mind that its wisdom, knowledge, and power are guiding and instructing you. At night I talk to my subconscious in the same manner that I would talk to a friend. I tell it, while simultaneously reminding myself that it is all powerful, that it has access to infinite intelligence. I confidently instruct it in what I want it to accomplish for me. Then I rest in peace with full assurance that it will be. It always does. Here's an affirmation you may want to try. My subconscious mind is my partner in success. If you break this affirmation down, you will see that it contains 3 powerful elements. 1. My subconscious mind. By affirming this, you acknowledge to yourself that you do indeed have a subconscious mind. You are recognizing and accepting your unseen partner as real. 2. Is my partner. A partner is someone who works side by side with you to achieve a common goal. Someone with whom you split the workload, each of you tackling different tasks. Why not let your subconscious partner specialize in the task to which it is best suited? Best suited, namely, supplying you with accurate information, ideas, and answers. You are never alone, never without guidance, because you can always count on your subconscious mind. It supplies the ideas, you supply the action. And number 3, in success. The word success is a powerful affirmation representing everything you want to see happen to you in business, in relationships, and in life. Just the act of repeating the affirmation sets vibrations of energy in motion that will greatly assist you in achieving your goals. What to do when you need to make a decision in a hurry? Well, sometimes we need to make a quick decision. We can't wait weeks. We need the answer this afternoon. When you need to make a decision in a hurry, try this technique. Relax your body, and with some deep breathing and just shrugging and relaxing your shoulders, feel calm and relaxed. Quiet your mind and then confidently affirm to yourself 10 or 20 times, I always make the right decision. I always make the right decision. I always make the right decision. Feel the power of the words. Say them. Say them with assurance, and as you finish your last affirmation, immediately make the decision. This way you bypass the logical mind and let your intuition supply the answer. It is sometimes valuable to know how to bypass the logical mind. When we live too logically, we are out of sync with life. Life is rarely logical. It is filled with paradoxes and mystery. That is why it's important to trust our intuition, feelings, and hunches. When we do this, we are closer to the truth than when we dogmatically remain within the narrow confines of our logical mind. It's a fly. Okay. Unfortunately, schools don't teach us to trust our intuition. Instead, they teach us to sort and decipher hard knowledge. But in real life, you find that even after you gather all the relevant information, there is still a gap, a part of you cannot neatly calculate. That's where you can add your intuition to make your final decision and then act. The quality of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts and ideas. How many times in the past have you fruitlessly searched your mind for solutions, going over the same information time and time again in the hope that you've missed something? The answers weren't there because by searching only your subconscious mind, you greatly limited your possible solutions. By using the same tired, worn-out ideas you've been hashing and rehashing for years, you have put a blindfold on yourself and tied one hand behind your back. No wonder you were not succeeding to the degree you desired. The subconscious mind contains new ideas, answers, and solutions in abundance. Don't limit yourself. Go to the treasure house within and bring back something new and dynamic that is full of life and spirit and originality. Originality. These ideas and solutions exist right now within you. Once you recognize the omnipotent power that exists in the subconscious mind, you will never want for answers. You will merely adjust your consciousness and direct your intuition to bring you the required information. As the Upanishads say, all exists within. That's the end of chapter 7. Moving on to chapter 8 quickly. Beautiful, beautiful. Almost halfway through the book. Can you believe it? I wonder. There's a fly joining us today for our reading of this wonderful book. So let's continue with chapter 8. Right. Quote. Dreams will... chapter 8 is about dreams. Quote. Dreams will show you where you are and where you are going. They reveal your destiny. By Carl Jung. Dreams have fascinated and intrigued mankind since the beginning of time. The oldest written record of dream interpretation is found in the Babylonian epic of Gilgamesh, recorded on clay tablets in 3000 BC. We know that the ancient Greeks and Egyptians practiced dream incubation, where dreams were artificially stimulated by suggestion in temples or sanctuaries devoted to healing. The Bible contains numerous references to individuals being guided by dreams. Joseph predicted for the Pharaoh 7 years of feast followed by 7 years of famine by correctly interpreting a dream. In the Aztec hierarchy of gods, the highest and most respected god was the bringer of dreams. The North American Indians had dream lodges where the elders of the tribe would interpret dreams received during visions and ceremonies and make decisions based upon their interpretations. Yet most people in modern society have dismissed this aspect of our psyche as unimportant, and as a result have lost a vital source of guidance and connection to the inner self. Fortunately, even in modern society, there have always been those unique individuals who have been fascinated by dreams and pursued this source of wisdom. Today, their numbers are growing rapidly as people search for meaning and understanding in their lives. What makes dreams so interesting is that dreams are where the conscious and subconscious meet, where the image of day-to-day living encounter the wisdom of the subconscious. Many scientists first dreamed mathematical solutions before they worked them out consciously. Einstein dreamed he was riding on a beam of light long before he developed the theory of relativity. Numerous artists, businessmen, researchers, and men and women of all walks of life are guided to creative solutions in their dreams. Certainly, there is now enough evidence to suggest to even the most skeptical that there is more to dreams than just meaningless random images. I wrote in the previous chapter of Dr. Banting and Elias Howe, who made their breakthrough discoveries through the aid of their dreams. Let me add another example to this growing list. Nobel Prize winner Dr. James Watson was led to discover the enigmatic properties of the DNA molecule by a dream he had one night. He had been working on trying to understand the molecular construction of DNA for years, to no avail. One night he had a dream in which he saw two snakes coiling around one another. He woke up instantly and exclaimed, "I wonder if that's it." I wonder if DNA is a double helix twining around itself. This form did not exist anywhere else in nature. He followed this trail and it indeed led him to decipher the enigmatic genetic coding for which he was awarded a Nobel Prize. Dreams are the forgotten languages of our race. Language. And within these strange symbols and allegories are hidden meanings and messages that can guide and instruct us if we can learn to decipher them. I have studied and analyzed my dreams for a number of years now. By observing my dreams over the extended period of time and attempting to interpret them, not always successfully, I can say with certainty that they will reflect a superior intelligence, a wisdom which speaks to us. Our dreams show us where we are wrong and where we are unadapted, bringing to our attention the root cause of inner disharmony or emotional distress. They reveal a deeper meaning in our life and consistently and regularly convey illuminating insights. Dreams show us how to find meaning in our lives, how to fulfill our destiny, how to realize the greater potential of life within us. Dreams are, for this reason, well worth studying and analyzing. We dream an average of 5 to 7 times a night. This might surprise you, as perhaps you feel that you seldom dream, but in fact everyone dreams every night, whether we remember those dreams or not. We know this because when we dream we exhibit rapid eye movement, REM, a phenomenon which psychologists and scientists can measure, thereby determining how often we dream. Babies dream about 50% of their sleep time. Premature babies, 70%. We dream more frequently after days full of worry and stress, after intense learning experiences, after traumatic events, or new and stimulating experiences, suggesting perhaps that dreams are important in helping us cope with changes in our lives. Programming your mind to dream. First, inform your mind just before you go to sleep that tonight I will dream and I will remember my dream. Repeat this to yourself every 20 minutes. You can even suggest it to You can even suggest what it is you wish to dream about, what areas you wish to explore. But dreams often have their own agenda. They know better than we what we need to understand. Interesting. 2. Place a pad of paper and pen by your night table. This is symbolic of as well as functional. You are demonstrating your willingness to explore your dreams. Your attitude towards dreams determines their attitude towards you. As you prepare for dreams, think about them, respect and acknowledge them. Doing so will cause them to more readily come to you. Upon awakening, don't leap out of bed, but remain still as your consciousness returns. This in-between time is very valuable. It is the crack between the two worlds. Is there a shred of a dream vaguely fluttering around in there somewhere? If so, observe it like a hunting dog observing its prey. Try to bring as much of it back as possible, piece by piece. Rerun the dream in your mind several times, adding detail each time. Keep doing this till you have reconstructed as much detail and story as you can. Now rise and write down your dream, adding more detail as it comes to you. Once the dream has been recorded, you can begin to interpret it or leave it and return to it later. Dream interpretation. When interpreting dreams, take an attitude of intense interest rather than one of frivolous curiosity. Think of yourself as an explorer in a new land, or an archaeologist digging up clues at an ancient site. In many ways, dream interpretation is like the work of an archaeologist. Not only do you have to find relics, but you must interpret what they are and what they mean. The dream mentioned previously in this chapter, and the dream in the chapter on the subconscious, were all fairly obvious to understand and were used because they clearly illustrated how dreams can guide us. These, however, are the exceptions. 90% of your dreams will make no sense whatsoever. They will seem like nonsense. But then again, so does a foreign language that you don't understand. However, if you're willing to work with your dreams and you understand some of the keys to deciphering them, they will open up an existing new world for you. Dreams use the vocabulary of symbols and allegory to convey their messages. Symbols are to intuition what words are to thought. My apologies. The language of dreams is more like art and poetry than linguistics. One of the suggestions as to why our subconscious uses symbols rather than language is that this part of our consciousness predates language. Here are some points that will help you learn the language of dreams. There's people outside. Remember that dreams are messages sent from your subconscious to you, and as such are showing you something about yourself. Dreams are always about you and your circumstances, whether you are stuck, what you're avoiding, what you're missing, what you're ignoring, where you need to go. 95% of the time, all the characters, creatures, monsters, and strangers in your dreams represent aspects of yourself. Interpret the dream assuming that all the people in the dream are you. Except when you recognize the characters, children, spouse, parents, co-workers, and so forth. And even then they are sometimes you. For example, you have a dream that a burglar breaks into your home and is trying to steal and harm your children. You confront the burglar and a life and death struggle ensues. You wake up. Interpreting the dream subjectively, you would then assume that you are the burglar. You ask yourself questions. What part of me is harming the children? Maybe you're working too hard and not spending enough time with them. Is your dedication to work, long hours, perhaps stealing your children from you? Or another interpretation may be that your children are the carefree and innocent part of you, and the burglar is your serious, logical side. Is this serious part of you suppressing your natural, easygoing nature? Maybe your dream is telling you something is being robbed from you by living this way. Get the idea? Don't translate dreams literally. You dream you are driving a fast sports car at 90 miles per hour around dangerous curves, you lose control, crash and die. Does this mean you're going to have a car crash and die? Highly unlikely. It is far more probable that the dream is telling you something about yourself, where you are losing control in your life. Where do you need to slow down? Perhaps the dream is suggesting that if you don't slow down, you'll crash, get sick, lose something valuable. Death usually means change, transition, the end of one part of your life and the beginning of another. Are you heading for a change? Maybe a change is coming very quickly. Does any of this fit? A nightmare is your subconscious trying to shock you into looking at some aspect of your life. It is as if the subconscious is saying, "Look here, this is urgent." Likewise, dreams that repeat themselves are messages trying to break through. When you correctly interpret them, they will cease. They are not only continuing because you are failing to hear their message. They are only continuing because you are failing to hear their message. Name the dream. Give it a title. It doesn't matter whether the title makes sense or not. Let your intuition come up with something. The title may give you some clues. Many years ago, I was about to invest some money in a venture that looked like a unique opportunity. Shortly before we were to consummate the deal, I had a dream in which one of the partners was walking a skunk on a leash. I remarked, "What are you doing walking a skunk?" He shrugged it off as normal. I woke from the dream and tried to make sense of it. I gave the dream a title, "Something Stinks Here," and as a result I decided not to invest. It looked like I was throwing away a golden opportunity. Yet 2 years later all the parties involved were bankrupt. Listening to my dreams saved me from losing a lot of money. Go back into the dream during waking hours and speak to the dream characters. Find a quiet spot where you will not be disturbed for 5 or 10 minutes. Closing your eyes, recreate the dream in your mind. See it happening exactly as it did the night before. The same scene as people. Project yourself back into the dream and let the drama unfold. Only this time you can react in any way you choose. For example, in the dream where the burglar breaks into your house and tries to harm the children, recreate the dream exactly as it happened, except that when it comes time to fight the burglar, instead of fighting, enter into a dialogue. Question the burglar. Who is he? What does he want? Why is he doing this? What are you trying to tell me? Since you now control the dream, you can do this. Perhaps talk to your dream children and ask them questions as well. You may be quite surprised at what they say. This technique can be invaluable in helping to make sense of it all. And yes, they will speak to you. I gotta try that. Compare the dream to a drama and examine it under those structural headings. Introduction. The setting of the dream, the meaning of the problem presented, the pilot, the action, the ups and downs of the story, and the ending. How does it end? Was it resolved or unresolved? What message was implied? In examining the dream in this way, you could ask what the main symbols are. What might these symbols represent? What are my best associations with these symbols? How are they speaking to me now? How do you feel in each part of the dream? This is a clue to its meaning. You do feel relieved, terrified, confident, empowered. Perhaps you dreamt you witnessed a murder, but instead of being terrified and upset, you were happy and excited. You woke up confused by this. The fact that you were happy and excited is the clue. What part of you or your life needs to change? Be murdered, kill. Would you feel excited or relieved if there were changes in this part of your life? What changes may it be suggesting? Examine all the clues. This should be sufficient to get you started on dream interpretation. Sometimes dreams reveal themselves right away. Mostly they need germination a few days or weeks before they begin to make sense, and sometimes not even then. But even if you don't decipher every dream, you'll be lucky in the beginning to decipher 1 out of 4. The very act of working on your dreams allows for valuable growth and change within the subconscious. No work is without compensation, on one level or another. Nor is dream interpretation something you can do with a rational effort alone. One depends as much on intuition as you do on logic. Every dream remembered and correctly interpreted makes a lasting connection. One is forever linked with it, and through that dream, one is linked with one's inner center. When our interpretation hits the mark, something inside us clicks. We say, yes, that's it. We feel empowered whenever we understand a dream properly. It is nourished. Something becomes peaceful and satisfied within it. We have direction and insight from within. It is a living dialogue with our own subconscious. We know we are connected to something powerful and infinite. This is always extremely reassuring. That is the end of chapter 8. Moving on to chapter 9. Concentration and contemplation. Concentration and contemplation. Are you still there? Good. Something happened. Cool. Right. You got it. To fully understand, by John Kehoe. To fully understand a grand and beautiful thought requires perhaps as much time as to conceive it. To fully understand a grand and beautiful thought requires perhaps as much time as to conceive it. Let's read the chapter because I don't get it. Most people have an erroneous idea of what concentration is. They associate it with hard work and sometimes painful school memories. If, however, you've ever lost yourself in the enjoyment of a movie or a concert, you found the concentration comes naturally when you are absorbed in something you enjoy. In fact, deep concentration requires no superhuman effort on your part. Just the opposite is true. Always, 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 always. Concentrate. Easy. Let yourself become so engrossed in your subject that you are conscious of nothing else. Think of a skillful actor. His greatness lies in his ability to lose himself in the portrayal of his character. Developing your concentration is like developing a muscle. If you haven't been to the gym for a while, you'll find even a light workout torturous. But if you continue working out every day, you will soon find you can do ever more sit-ups and lift even heavier weights with increasing ease. It's the same with contemplation. Your mind is not used to disciplined thinking, so your first few tries will not be nearly as effective as they will be after you have been mentally working out for a while. Be patient with yourself and give yourself time to develop these new skills. Contemplation. I think they're looking for me. Let's continue. Contemplation. Since it is thought Since it is through contemplation that we deepen our understanding, it should form an integral part of our training. With contemplation, we break through the surface of things to explore their deeper meaning and implications, as have artists, mystics, and religious and spiritual leaders throughout the ages. Without contemplation, we fool ourselves into believing that because we can quote facts and make intellectual arguments about a subject, we know everything there is to know about it. We may know something on the factual surface level, but that doesn't mean we know it all. Consider the differences between a tomato picked while still small, hard and green, and one allowed to sun-ripen to its sweet, juicy fullness. You could say you know what a tomato tastes like after having eaten the green one, and technically you would be right. After sampling that luscious ripe one, however, you'd immediately see how much you'd missed, how your awareness of the possibilities of tomato had broadened. You had tasted both stages and now knew the difference. Likewise, you could say you now understand how mind power works, and it is true that by reading this book, you have received the basic information, but it is only through daily practice that your comprehension will develop beyond the beginner's level. Your current understanding is like a tiny seed that will flower and bear fruit if you cultivate it through contemplation. To practice contemplation. Pick a quotation, saying, theme, or parable, anything that inspires you. Using a watch or clock to time yourself. Devote 5 minutes to concentrating on the material. Lose yourself in it, thinking deeply about it. Ask yourself questions such as, what does this mean? What are its implications? How do they affect me? Can I make the concept work for me? When your mind wanders, and it will wander, gently but firmly bring it back to the subject of your reflections, and do not let any apparent failure or lack of progress deter you from continuing with the exercise. Totally irrelevant thoughts are sure to drift into your mind in the middle of your practice. Memories of recent events, tasks waiting to be done, desires, worries, and fantasies will enter uninvited and try to hold the field of attention. As soon as you become aware that the intrusion is out of place, dismiss it and begin again at the point where you left off. Your lazy mind is not used to being disciplined and directed in this way. It prefers to meander about thinking what it wants, when it wants. When the mind becomes bored with contemplation, it will want to move on to do something more interesting. Just keep bringing it back again and again to your central theme and press on with this inner inquiry, moving from thought to thought in linked sequence. If you read a book 1,000 times, you are bound to understand it, says an old proverb. Likewise, if you pursue your contemplation for a period of weeks and months, not only will you deepen and enrich your understanding, but by disciplining and directing your mind, you will naturally and effortlessly develop your powers of concentration. Contemplate all aspects of your training until you understand it fully. It's a good idea to keep a pen and paper handy when contemplating, so you can write down any new insights as they come to you. And that is the end of chapter 9. Let's take on chapter 10. This is going beautifully. And I'm enjoying this so much. Let's continue with this. Beautiful, beautiful book. Boys will be boys. Yes, and we're back again. That bird wants attention, but you must wait a little bit. Be a little bit patient. It all comes in good time. Right, let's continue with our wonderful book. Chapter 10, Beliefs and Imprinting. All truly wise thoughts have been thought already thousands of times. But to make them truly ours, we must think them over and over, again, honestly, till they take root in our personal experience. Truth. There is no area of our life about which we don't have a set of beliefs and assumptions, some of which are accepted way back in early childhood and have defended ever since. Once acquired, we rarely question these beliefs. We naturally assume they are all true. Why else would we have them? If we think it's hard to make money, it's because it is hard to make money. If we feel we are worthless, it's because we are worthless. If we think there are no opportunities for us, it's because there are no opportunities for us. We will doubt and scrutinize almost all aspects of ourselves and our lives, but our beliefs are always the last to be challenged. What you believe is what you get. Most of us have unwittingly used our beliefs against ourselves many times. If you look at any of your problem areas, you'll probably find they are rooted in faulty and limited beliefs. So if you are having problems with your relationships, examine your beliefs about relationships, all your beliefs. Likewise, if you are having problems with health, look at your beliefs around health. If you are having financial problems, look closely at your beliefs about money. After one of my lectures, a soft-spoken man in his mid-30s confided to me that he had difficulties in making money. He always had just enough to support himself and his family, but never enough to save and get ahead. I'll never have enough money, he shrugged. It's impossible to get ahead. These, too, are negative beliefs. I'll never have enough money and it's impossible to get ahead. Lodged deep in his subconscious mind, were continuously at work coloring this man's reality. I suggested to him that these might not be the only limiting beliefs he held about money, for, in my experience, most limiting beliefs drag a host of undesirable relatives along with them. Apologies. As the frog I ate before. See. Right. I asked him to write down all his beliefs about money and success. The resulting list was quite revealing. It included such commonly held beliefs as, I accept money from someone that they will go without. If I accept money from someone, then they will go without. There are no good opportunities left to make money. Money is hard to make. Successful people are selfish, and I don't want to be selfish. And I would have to give up too much to become successful. Quite a self-limiting and self-defeating list. I agree. No wonder this man couldn't get ahead financially. He was at war with his own subconscious, battling a litany of beliefs which kept telling him he would have become selfish. Take from others and give up too much in order to make more money. Apologies. I think it's drying out a little bit. Let's give it a little bit of water. Clean, healing, blessed water. Thank you. At another of my lectures, a woman who had suffered constant poor health found, upon examining her beliefs, that she was telling herself, everyone gets sick. There is so much disease around. I catch everything. My body is fragile and disease is much more powerful than health. Luckily, she was able to eventually turn her health around by adopting a new, life-strengthening beliefs. What is in your subconscious mind is of immense concern to you. If your subconscious mind has picked up worry, negativity, or limiting suggestions, it will accept them as true and will work with that belief day and night, ultimately bringing about the corresponding situations. If it believes in poverty, failure, and trouble, then your subconscious will endeavor in 1,000 different ways to manifest those realities. What is contained in your subconscious mind and the experiences you encounter in your life are directly connected to one another. Have you swallowed any snakes? There's an old... Oh, wow! There is an old Zen parable about a foolish peasant who was sent to visit his master's house. The master brought him into the study and offered him some soup. But just as the peasant was about to drink it, he noticed a small snake in his bowl. Not wanting to offend his master, he drank it anyway, and within a few days felt so ill that he was brought back to the house. The master again took him into his study and prepared some medicine which he gave to the peasant in a small bowl. Just as the peasant was about to drink the medicine, he noticed another snake in the bowl. This time he pointed it out and loudly complained that this was the reason he was sick in the first place. Roaring with laughter, the master pointed to the ceiling from which hung a large bowl. It is the reflection of the bowl you are seeing. he said. There is no snake at all. The peasant looked again, and, sure enough, there was no snake in his bowl, only a reflection. He left the house without taking the medicine and regained his health within the day. When we accept limitations about ourselves and our world, we have swallowed imaginary mental snakes, and they are always real, until we find out otherwise. Once your subconscious mind has accepted a belief or idea, whether true or not, it will continually feed you thoughts to support that belief. Let's say you unconsciously believe that it is hard to establish a loving relationship. This belief, repeated to yourself, soon becomes imprinted on the subconscious mind. Once imprinted, it will feed your mind with thoughts such as, I'll never meet someone I like. It's impossible to meet a good partner. Relationships never work, and so on. When you meet someone special, your thoughts become, he's probably not that nice. Why bother trying? It won't work, or she'd never be interested in me. Furthermore, your mind, convinced that it's hard to have a good relationship, will magnify any incidents that support this belief, and will ignore or dismiss incidents which indicate the opposite. Our mind will distort our perception of reality to make it conform to our beliefs. Think you are worthless, or that it's hard to make money? Believe you are susceptible to poor health? Your mind will find irrefutable evidence to support those beliefs and will work overtime to manifest those realities. On the other hand, if you believe that you are a winner, or that there is money to be made every week, if you believe in your own vibrant health, you'll find yourself surrounded by equally strong evidence supporting those beliefs. So choose your beliefs wisely. In almost all problem areas of your life, you are the problem and you are the solution. You got that? That's right. It may not seem that way, but you are encountering your resistance not from outside sources, but from inside yourself, from your beliefs. New beliefs, when accepted by our subconscious mind, will open up a whole new reality. For example, let's say a belief that it's hard to make friends. Holding this belief now excuses you from making friends. It's not your fault. It's hard. It's only logical and understandable that you don't make friends. Your belief deludes you into believing that your lack of friends has nothing to do with you. If you change your belief to, it's easy to make friends, your telephone may not suddenly start ringing off the hook with dinner invitations. In fact, you may not make even a few friends, but you will have changed your focus. Suddenly, the problem isn't out there, the problem is with you. Once you take responsibility for your reality, you can examine what you need to change in yourself. And sometimes just that change of attitude will open up numerous possibilities. As you continue to believe that it's easy to make friends, you will find plenty of evidence to support this belief and will make whatever changes are necessary to take advantage of this newly emerging reality. Challenge yourself to greatness. Challenge yourself to create new, more supportive beliefs, even if on the surface you don't believe them. Remind yourself that you can voluntarily plant in your subconscious mind any thought, idea, or belief you desire, and your mind will accept it provided it is introduced with feeling and reinforced through repetition. The mind is a creature of habit. If you have allowed limiting concepts to root there, you can crowd them out by constructing new and more supportive beliefs, and by practicing them until the old ideas have been replaced by the new ones. So do a mental house cleaning. Change the furniture and paint the walls. It's time to toss out all the old and limiting self-defeating beliefs, however cherished, and replace them. Check the following list carefully to see if you are in the habit of using even one of these sayings. I can't do it. I'll never get ahead. There is no opportunities right now. I hear people say it all the time. Alright. I've tried hundreds of times. It doesn't matter what I do. It's hard to get ahead. Sometimes something always goes wrong. It won't last. Life is hard. Makes me want to sleep. I don't like these. You have to work hard for everything you achieve. Nothing comes easily. This is not the right time for me. I don't know what to do. If any of these sound familiar, begin immediately to imprint new, more supportive beliefs. Allowing ourselves to succeed means being willing to give up the excuses, the security and the other benefits we have derived from failure. Millions of people are content to stay as they are and will make no attempt to change. They believe life is hopeless and difficult and have resigned themselves to this fate. Nothing will shake them from it. But what about you? Explore your possibilities. Step 1. Pick an area of your life in which you are having difficulty. Finances, relationship, sex, health, business, etc. Write down all your beliefs about that area. Take your time and be honest. Don't write what you think you should feel or what looks good. Write what you really feel deep down inside. When you have finished, examine the list and search for limiting beliefs. You are not interested in whether these beliefs are true or not, only in whether or not they are limiting. This process, if done honestly, can be quite revealing in and of itself. Now, step 2. Beside each limiting belief, write a newer, more supportive belief. For example, your limiting belief is there are no way for me to make money. The new belief. There are many undiscovered ways for me to make money. Limiting belief. It is hard to meet people. New belief. It is easy to meet people. Limiting belief. It's hard to make friends. New belief. It is easy to make friends. Limiting belief. I'll never get ahead. New one. I'm bound to succeed. Limiting belief. I have no time to work on this project. New belief. There will be lots of time to work on this project. Using the imprinting technique which follows. Impress these new beliefs into your subconscious mind. Stick to 1 or 2 new beliefs a month. Don't try to do much at one time. Don't try to do too much at one time. As the months roll by, you will find you have a number of powerful new beliefs working for you. Imprinting. The imprinting technique is simple. You've been using it almost since birth. You've used it to learn first your language and then facts like the multiplication tables. You immediately knew the answer to 6 times 6 or 8 times 7 because the answers have been imprinted in your mind through numerous exercises or repetition. Remember how many times you wrote and memorized your multiplication tables? You probably don't remember learning to read either, but you did so by the same method, continually repeating words and phrases and correcting yourself, or being corrected when you mispronounced or misused them. Now you can speak your own language effortlessly because it has been imprinted into your mind. Like any other new information, ideas and beliefs must be imprinted in your mind before you can use them successfully and automatically. The thrill of a new idea cannot be sustained for long because inspiration, however strong, soon fades and disappears. However motivated a person may be, if they are unable or unwilling to follow through on their initial enthusiasm, they will inevitably lapse back into their original position, their old ways. When imprinting, use a combination of affirmations and contemplations while repeating the idea to yourself. Think about it, make it real to yourself and ignore contrary ideas. The new concept is still a tender shoot. Nurture it through its first struggling stages. Be vigilant, for without care, your unruly old ideas, like mental weeds, will take over and crowd it out. There is a necessary germination period before any new idea or belief will take root and flourish in our consciousness. This takes time. It does not happen by whipping past a new belief once or twice, or even 10 or 20 times. True imprinting requires 1 to 3 months before its effects are firmly fixed in the mind. That's 30 to 90 imprinting sessions of 5 to 10 minutes each day. You can see why people who try to adopt a new belief by reading it once or twice are doomed to fail. I've tried to believe it, but I just can't, they say hopelessly. Yet how hard did they try? You are trying to create new beliefs in your subconscious mind, and often, very often, those new beliefs contradict the existing beliefs you now hold. It's simply not possible for your mind to incorporate any new belief unless you intend to imprint it daily from a month or 2. Why waste your time and disappoint yourself with half-hearted attempts? Every new belief needs time and attention to flourish. Unless, anything less, will not succeed. Now, repeat after me. Every new belief needs time and attention to flourish. Every new belief needs time and attention to flourish. Every new belief needs time and attention to flourish. Get the message? Ooh. So that is the end of chapter... Which was this one? Chapter 10? Yes. That is the end of chapter 10, the first part of the book. Part 1 is done. Beautiful. Thank you so much. We will continue with part 2 shortly. So, may you have a wonderful, beautiful time. Thank you for coming. Thank you for the like and the share and the comment too. Tell me which part of the book resonates the most with you. I'd love to hear from you. And thank you for coming. See you again soon. Number 2. Or part 2 of the beautiful book, Mind Power. Not just beautiful, it's mind-altering and life-changing. Really worth the read. We all should read it. And we should teach it to our children. And I will spit out the frog for the next reading. Enjoy. See you soon. Thanks.